Computer. Lights. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. So, I am trying. So, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here in the world because, first of all, this is the last week of daytime shows for us. I actually have a feeling, and I mean, I can't guarantee this, but I have a feeling that once we move to nights, we're going to get a lot more people who are viewing and we'll get a lot more guests. I'm going to change the name of the show because I never really gave it time to think about it and never really kind of came up with anything. And I think I'm going to call it after the group, the Quasar Art Collective. So we'll just call this show Quack because I think that's funny. So, um, Brian already did a duck flying in space. It's the perfect logo for this. So I think what I will do is just do that and we will go on ahead and work with that. Today is Springs Monday. What we will probably end up doing when we move to another time is that we will probably start the week out with artist check-in on Monday because Friday nights I actually go somewhere. So we've had sort of a tradition for quite a few years that on Friday nights we go over to Troy's. So my thought is that what will happen is Friday day. Hello, Brent. Friday day. Oh, Brent, I've got to ask you questions. So remind me to ask you questions. Um, Friday day, I will probably record a Springs show and that will play Friday night live, is what I'm thinking. So you can travel. That's okay. So that's my thought on this one is that so this is the Brent, this is the last week of us doing this during the day. So there's that. We'll be moving to night starting next week by accord on Friday of like everybody because you missed Friday's show where everybody was here and it was like a gajillion people were here. It was horrible. It wasn't horrible. But 10 to midnight. That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, we'll have to see. That's so what I was saying earlier was the best part about the 10 to midnight thing is we can have more people here more often. Right now, nobody, I mean, like Brian's still having breakfast right now. Raph is dealing with Coda. And you know what I mean? Like 10 to midnight, Coda's in bed already. And Brian's already up doing art. And like most of the time, Pepper is just doing work. He said mood thinging or whatever. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I was thinking. Also, it's an hour later for you, so that's going to be 11 to 1 a.m. So I was kind of, yeah, that's that's going to be brutal. But I don't know when else to put it. Once I start working at the school, I'm going to be working, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So there will be no way unless I wanted to do this at 6 a.m., at which time I can guarantee I won't get anybody else to ever be on the show. So, and then of course, evenings would be when my wife and wants to watch TV with my kid and we all sit down and have family time and stuff like that. So kind of complicated to do that at any time in the evening. So it's got to be that last shift. So I'm not ecstatic about it either, but I'll get acclimated. You'll be here for 6 a.m. Yeah, it'd be you and me, and that'd be what we'd have at 6 a.m. And I'd have to take a break to kick my kid out the door. So anyway, um, so today is Springs Monday, but I don't really have a good idea for Springs. So my thought was, we've been talking a little bit about the idea of organizing for making a new book, so that we can release a new book of Springs. And so that's something I've been kind of pondering. I've been trying to figure out what the heck I should do with it. so, so here we go. We're gonna take a look in here and kind of take a look at what we've got going on here. So this is the first Springs comic, and this is the most recent Springs comic. So I've got to figure out how to reconcile these two. Let's see what we got here. First things first, let's check our sizes. Because this guy's 49.28. And this guy is 46.95. That's actually not that bad, relatively speaking. I can't start in the comic in 1 hour. So good morning, Cat. So we'll have to start in the comic in a few. Or we'll start the comic tomorrow. That's this week's goal. We actually can look at what we've got going on my design sheet too. I'm more than willing to do that too, because this is kind of cool. So here's where we are as far as layouts are concerned. For Momentary Ghosts, we've got all but really these two pages are kind of figured out. I want to make sure that the flow looks good before I get into this too deep, because yeah, for a while, Geek Tank is still going to be on Monday mornings, because we actually have not discussed what to do. We don't know yet. Nighttime becomes complicated for Alex, so we'll have to see. We don't know, so we'll have to. Good morning, Donald. Donald, we're discussing the fact that the collective has decided to start moving to nights next week. So you'll still be able to watch the show. You just won't be able to watch it live. So me, I don't table at NDK. I work NDK, so I can't table. Which actually brings me to the fact that, yeah, I know you did. And you commented that you were in the drawings, and we went and looked and we couldn't find you anywhere. So we're worried that there is something wrong with the system. So you're going to be our guinea pig. Yes, because you were talking about potentially putting yourself into the drawing, and then we couldn't find you. Do you want to table there, Cat? Because that's important. That's actually what we were just talking about. Oh, good. This gives me something to talk about. Okay, so up until recently, I've been talking to a lot of my buddies, and there has been a lot of people giving up on NDK's Artist Alley because it's too obscure. You can't get in. Nobody knows how it works. It never works. Yada yada yada. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the drawing was randomized and weird. That's fair. I'm worried about people who never got in, because, like, for example, well, that might happen. Is that what you were talking about? Oh, Well, that explains a great many things. Haven't made that decision yet. That may be something I'm doing. That may not be something I'm doing. If that is something I'm doing, I'm with the staff tables that were pulled out in the very beginning. Um, yeah. Okay. So there were 290 people who entered into Artist Alley this last year. 50 of them were DQ'd because they were, and I read all the DQs. It was a lot of things like, clearly they were here to promote their book, which, is like, something that doesn't have anything to do at all with anime. And that's like, no, because you're a professional author and that's probably not something you should do, sort of thing. So a lot of, so 50 of them right off the bat got DQ'd. That left us with 120, or that left us with 220, 240, 240, which means that we have 120 open tables. That gives us about a 50-50 chance, right? That you'd get in, generally speaking. So what we did was we randomly drew I actually brought up a randomizer on my phone and randomly pulled a bunch of numbers out of a set. But we went in 4 different groups. Back in the old days, they sort of did it all at one. And so you ended up with the majority of the people in Artist Alley being the people at the very front of the list, because it randomly pulled and then you ran out of spaces. Um, uh, it depends. I mean, the books would have the same criteria that the artists do, which is it has to be furthering Japanese culture. You know what you could do, Kat? Oh, Kat, you should, all the things you talked about last Wednesday, make a book about that. Oh my God, I'd buy that book. I'd buy that book so much. I'd buy that book and then wear the book out and then buy another book. One that just talks about all the rules and regulations that nobody talks about making manga. Like, I have like 27 how to make manga books over here, and not a soul, not a single one talked about the theories you talked about on Wednesday. Not one. I would love to have that book. And if you illustrated it with cute little pictures, it would sell and it could be totally yours. And I would buy it and I would own a copy and I'd make you sign it, because like then I'd have an autographed copy. Then I'd buy another copy because I wouldn't want it to die. Because my signed autographed copy would be the one that would get killed. But that would be really good. Just take your blog posts and compile them, because those blog posts were useful and very good and stuff like that. And then you could table it in Decay and people would buy the hell out of that book. Like, if you had a section for normal manga and then you had a section for the comic strip ones, the 4-panel comic strips. Yeah. Do it anyway. Because I'm not published or anything either. Well, that's not true. I have one comic. I printed 25 of them. So there. But that's actually kind of what I was talking about today. Was at one point in time, I made a book. Do it anyway. Yeah, do it anyway. Screw it up. Screw it. It doesn't really matter. What's his name? Hart? Chris Hart? Chris Hart. Chris Hart does a gajillion books. Who the hell is he? Does anybody even know? I own like 6 of his books. I don't even know who he is. I've never read any of his manga. I don't know if he's written manga. I don't even know if he's written anything. I don't even know what he does. But his how to draw manga style comics are actually relatively cool. So that works. No, don't be flattered. I don't even know who he is. But the point I'm getting at is he's got like 62,000 books and people buy them. And don't know what comic he ever wrote. I don't know if I would listen to Brent. I mean, could it happen? Maybe. You could become like Dan Brown. But I don't know if the audience is so large out there that everybody needs to know the inner workings of manga. But I would love if you wrote not only a book about like the theory behind what manga is, but also a how manga is written. I spent all of Thursday just trying to track down how wide and how tall my manga pages should be to set it up in Clip Studio. Because everybody does it differently. And it'd be great if someone went out there and found out that, okay, you can do your manga pages in any size you want. However, if you're making doujinshi, you need to make it this size. And if you want to get published by Tokyo Pop, you need to make it this size. And if you want to get published by Kodansha, you need to make it this size. Exactly. So, because I mean, what I ended up ultimately doing, I'm not kidding, is I ultimately measured my Macross pages until I got the actual measurements I was looking for. And as I have oft said, my dear and beloved Haruhiko Mikimoto, whom I absolutely love, and he's my favorite artist of all time, and he's the one I worship, does not stay inside his safes ever. Like none of these pages are fully safe. This page has exactly one place inside the safe, and it's the part below the safe. So it took me forever to figure out where my safes were versus my bleed versus my page. You know, well, exactly. I should have just asked you. I actually was cursing the fact that I didn't, because we almost set up the page. Yes, I understand that, but I mean, you could say you are safest by doing X, Y, or Z. You know, this is the safest route. Would work. You know what I mean? Like if you stay within these margins, then it shouldn't need much resizing because every publisher is different. It is obvious that every publisher is different. I mean, like I already discovered the hard way that like when Mikimoto was doing Macross, he's got a different aspect ratio than when he did Marionette Generation. And I was like, really? And I was like, ugh. And it's mostly because this is Kodansha and that was KC. And so it's like, well, I don't know. Anyway, so that was frustrating. Anyway. But the point that I'm kind of getting at is a little book that just says, you know, here's some theory on how manga works, you know, where you talk about gutters and how, well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the thing you were talking about gutters, I had observed by measuring these gutters, right? Where you talked about the fact that the height of a gutter is different than the width of a gutter on these pages. And it's because that makes it easier to read because you can clearly read and then you notice that there is a gap that's larger than the gaps between the frames. And so the reading style is better and easier and smoother. I mean, that's invaluable. I had seen it, I had figured it out, but boy, I didn't know. I've been doing manga since the 90s. And some of the stuff that you got in your blog are like, oh, you know, well, no wonder my stuff looks amateurish, you know. I'm just saying. So if you made a book, I'd buy it. Right. Well, but even Mikimoto right there, the gutters are 2 millimeters in the width wise, but they're 5 millimeters height wise. So, I mean, it's clear that the gutters are yeah. If you make it, I will buy the hell out of that thing. Anyway, okay. So back to NDK. NDK had done for many, many years, had done this way of dealing with the fact that they, well, like, for example, we have 120 tables in Artist Alley, and 290 people applied. And some people want 2 tables, right? So, like, there's no way. And we knew that. So the method that we'd come up with before was to take the people in there and then just roll dice, literally roll dice. But it was not transparent. And so back in the day when we only had, say, 70 tables or 60 tables in Artist Alley, and 300 people applying, you can see that you had a 1 in 4 chance at best of getting a table. But the problem was there were methods that were done that weren't clear to the people. Like, you'd end up with, like, staff tables always come off the top, right? Well, okay, that makes sense. You get 4 people who are staff members who do tables there, and that makes some sense. And then there are the Artist Alley staff. Artist Alley staff is unique because the people who are watching the Artist Alley to make sure nobody's stealing stuff will also table, right? Because it makes some sense. So you kind of have a trade going there with that. You know, they're designed to watch to make sure nobody steals anything, and they also table. So you kind of have those coming off the top as well. But there's not that many of those, but they come off the top, which takes the chances and stuff like that. So we realized that this was so obscure and weird that we decided we were just going to publicly do this in public. Everybody will see. It'll be wide open. You'll all see it. Everybody will know what's going on. And that's what we did Friday. Was we did a public drawing and put it out on Facebook. And you can see, I mean, I started out by saying, here are the number of rocks. Each rock represents a table, which we found out that the autofocus kept trying to focus on my hand. And so it kept going, rah, rah. We kept getting all focused out. And it was really funny. We'll fix that next time. We'll put it in pro mode and make it stop being goofy. But it worked. That worked very well. People could see what tables got picked and why and stuff like that. But I've been encouraging everybody to keep trying, keep coming back and do it again and try one more time and everything like that, because this year we have 120 tables, but we have space for more. The focus was because I kept putting the rock down and then the camera would focus on my hand and then I'd move the rock back. Right. Well, and that's the thing. Hi there, Garuda. Because you were tabling at DCC, which, man, what a mess DCC is trying to get into, and what a huge monster that thing is. And I don't mean to knock DCC. I'm just talking about that is a big, big show. But yeah, the fact that, I mean, but they've got more room and they've got more tables. So if you think at the average, we've got kind of probably, go make a panel. Do that too. But also make a book. I'm not kidding, Kat. You're a font of knowledge now. Like, knowledge that all of us are like, ooh, we need that knowledge. And you could even put, like, your name and author of and your comic. And when people read the book, they'll go to your comic. Yeah. Because, see, that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. Because then it does. There's no rules that say you have to have published a zillion comics in order for you to publish a book about it. Uh-oh. Yeah. So we made it a rule to have at least 25% of the artist alley be new people every year, so that there's always turnover. Um, so, but we'll take panels any day, dude. If you want to do a panel, not only would I attend your panel, mostly because it's like my buddy, I got to go attend the panel by my friends, but also I think you'd have a good panel. So, so it's so funny because like this last year, what had happened was over the last few years, I've been listening to Oi Bob and Raf and the people who are around me who are like they do manga style, and I'm like, why aren't you getting into the con? And like the first time it was, well, I submitted my stuff and I went and looked at their stuff and it was Batman and Spider-Man. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere with Batman and Spider-Man because we're supposed to be furthering Japanese culture. So you can't really get anywhere if you're furthering Batman and Spider-Man. And they're, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's fine. So um, I explained that. And then they went again and tried again, and they were still not getting in. And they're like, well, we're still not getting in. And I'm like, that's weird. But this last time I noticed that Rio got in. So somebody in our group is starting to cycle into NDK, which is good. But of course, I looked at the list of people who tried, and nobody. Yeah, we know Hone. I don't know Jen though. We're like buddies with Hone. Hone was on here Friday, not feeling so well. But yeah, I don't know Jen though. Finally, finally know Jen. So yeah, Hone is great. Hone is part of the little group of people that we hang out with all the time. Gotcha. Well, welcome. Welcome to the show. Do you also live out in the east where it's rainy all the time? Apparently it was like monsoon season. I spent a long time in Japan, and I know that there are monsoon seasons where it just rains and it never stops. So there was a Japanese Spider-Man. Not only was it entertainingly silly, um, but actually, Ryoichi Ikigami did a comic on Spider-Man before he did Crying Freeman. And for those of you who are not familiar, Crying Freeman is a really dramatic comic that sort of centers around the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia in a way. But yeah, they had a Japanese version of Spider-Man back in I want to say the 80s. And Ikigami did a Spider-Man comic, which was great. Um, that would work, but there are rules about yeah, we were worried. He wasn't doing so well Friday. Is he okay today? Did he make you come on here to tell us these things? Which we appreciate because we were kind of worried. Oh, he's not good today. That's a bummer. That sucks. Mm. An Indian Spider-Man. I feel like it would have singing in it. Are you roommates? Like, do you live in the same house? Like with Hone? I'm having like three discussions here. I'm sorry. Either way, I just wanted to, well, kinda. You live near him. That's cool. I'm glad you're taking care of him. He's very far away from us, so we can't really help him any, which is kind of a bummer. That works. Either way, I appreciate you coming in and checking in with us and telling us what's going on with Hone because we were worried. Or Jin. So Indian Spider-Man. I'm still trying to think of the Indian Spider-Man. This comes from having watched the Japanese Spider-Man, and the way that went was very strange. So tell him we're thinking about him and we're rooting for him. Tell him to chin up. He'll be good. We'll be here. Yeah. That wouldn't be a bad Spider-Man. So I hope that he's doing well. Make sure he eats. Make sure he gets some food, water, and stuff. I know that he was having real problems with his computer, and things were really bad with his computer. But like I said, we said before, we were saying on Friday that sometimes starting over isn't bad. So it sucks a lot, but sometimes the second pass is a good thing. Good morning, Forrest. Good to see you. It's only a comic. Oh. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that it's a long story. He's good people. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, looks like Troy just bombed out of I think he's good people. He's fine. All of us have lots of good things in life, right? We're all good people. Some people aren't good people, but just because you have a rough day, that doesn't make you bad people, you know? That doesn't make you bad people. Rough days. We all have rough days. So don't worry about it. I don't know about that one, Donald. That seems like a whole lot of weird stereotypes. Why, thank you. This is my not today shirt. Yeah, he was having a rough day on Friday, so go check in on him and make sure he's still doing okay. Because I'm worried about him. And thank you, Forrest. I do like this too. That's a good shirt. Okay, so this is going to be a tricky thing. Oh, he locked the door. Is he at least responding? Well, no, there'll be Geek Tank. I just have to start the show myself. Usually, oh, he's not answering? Ugh, that's not good. You'll have to go check on him, check in on him, and make sure he's okay. Lock the door. So, okay, no, there will be a Geek Tank today, Brent. Get a hammer. I don't know if you need a chainsaw to get. Well, I don't know. Is the door that solid? Does he live in an apartment? Can you get the apartment manager? Because like that'd probably be better. We have no topic for Geek Tank today. Mostly because usually I let Alex pick the or Troy pick the topic, but Troy's not going to be there, so it's going to be just Alex and me. So we'll have to see what's going on. But it also means that in 20 minutes, I'm going to have to, probably not even 20, probably 15 minutes, I'll have to shut this show down. Oh, gotcha. He's been living with you. I got it. For the weekend. So it's in your house, no less. Oh, man. That sucks. Can you pick the lock? In our house, all of the locks in this house are really simple to pick. You can take a paper clip, you can just stick it in, kind of jiggle it, and it'll unlock the door. So, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Gotcha. Well, it's your house. I mean, if it's your house, you can break your own door. If you really want to. Of course, nothing's wrong. You're gonna have to like totally like tell him to pay for the door. You don't have to break the door. I don't want to break the door. Got a window. Yeah, he was not doing so well, Donald. On Friday, he had a hard drive failure, and he was. We were, yeah, we missed you too, Forrest. We missed you too. Um, yeah, he had a hard drive failure. He was having Hone was having a rough day Friday. And it was Pepper and me, and we were talking to Hone, and we were trying. Even Bill came in and tried to help him with the hard drive because he got a virus. Looks like he got hit with a Trojan, so it it's fragged a lot of his work, and so he's gonna have to start all over. Probably start all over, and he's got 5 months into a project. So yeah, that's the thing is he was working really hard in a project, and he had a huge animation he was working on, and he lost it in that one. I mean, it's plausible, it's recoverable, but it's going to take effort and time, and there will come a point where he's just going to have to make the decision whether he just wants to start over. But as I told him, sometimes I start all over, even though everything's fine, and it's because the second pass is generally better. Um, oh, you have his backup. Hey. Well, that's actually really good. You're gonna be like saving the day, bro. Yeah. And lost everything. 3 weeks from the end of semester, no less. Oh, wow. There you go. Just marry him. That works. You know what? I could totally see that. You saved his entire project. That works. Just marry him. You don't want to marry you anyway. Right? So the new is better? You think newer Legos are better than older Legos? Look at the sad face. Oh, is he? Oh, yay! Hey, honey, did you hear what they were saying? Did you hear about the backup? About the backup? It's good to see you. All Legos are amazing. We're having like weird discussions. You just broke into his room. All Legos are amazing. Garuda, you're not getting into this fight. All Legos are amazing. Oh, you know, it's right. It's right here. It's right here. Right here. Right here. 9,000 pieces. Good heavens. That's a big piece. That's a big model. Trying to find the things. So, the most awesome things that were ever released was this one. Because all it is a bunch of Lego spacemen. I love this set. This is my favorite set. This is such my favorite set. I bought like 20 of them. Right? Pirate and Castles. No, space, dude. Space. Lego Space. That's the best set ever. Spaceship. Spaceship, spaceship, spaceship. The thing is, Benny is so my spirit animal. Right? No blood. We're good. Yeah, I have a few of these. I have this one, which is really hard to find now. And so I'm kind of loath to build it because it's actually kind of super rare. And I'm like, if I open it, if I break the seal. But I was so excited that they had girl Legos at one point in time doing science like a normal person that I bought it to encourage them to do more. And they did. But I also have a Mandalorian set that I'm working on right now, which I haven't gotten yet. Yeah, go deal with the knives. We have to call you we call you Second Breakfast. We could call you Second Breakfast. I don't know. I have to come up with a name for you because Hone is easy to say, but Second Breakfast is no. Second Breakfast is fine. We can call you Second Breakfast. Nope. For $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. We can discuss it. Oh, I wanted the Razor Crest, but it was expensive. So I didn't get the Razor Crest. I need the Razor Crest. But I have an inordinate number of space dudes. I love minifigs. Inshire. I have an inordinate number of minifigs. Minifigs are like my jam. I love minifigs. And the thing is that there used to be a Benny that sat right there, and I've lost him. He went somewhere. I think he's over here. No, he's not over here. Where's my Benny? Dang it. Okay, there's a Benny somewhere. He went somewhere. And I usually keep Benny with me right here because he's my spirit animal. I'm not kidding. If anything was who I am in real life, I'm Benny. Oh, hey, yeah. I love this one. She's my favorite. I got her. She was one of the, gosh, what was this? From one of the early, or one of the minifig sets. And she's one of my favorites. So I don't mind second breakfast either. Second breakfast is the best. First breakfast is pretty good too. Oh yeah, I could see that. I really should get like more. Second breakfast works. Just opening up that curtain a little bit more. See, now more light. There is a house that's directly across the park here. I've got a little park right in front of my house. Well, right to the side of my house. There's this beautiful little park with a playground and like a little like walking path and stuff. But directly across the park is the other half of the subdivision. The house that's right here, like right there, is brown. So it doesn't reflect a lot. But these two houses right here, why, thank you. Thank you very much. This is Stitch is my other favorite critter. I love Stitch. Stitch and I, we see eye to eye. Benny, Stitch, I'm in. This is a great thing. I love Benny and Stitch. So they are my spirit animals. Don't get into a fight with Hone. See you later though. It was good to see you, second breakfast. Good to meet you. You can hang out with us anytime. See you later. Thanks for taking care of Hone. Okay, which is we got about 5 more minutes, and we're gonna have to switch over to Restream. I've been watching all of your builds, Booma. So, I mean, I've totally been watching all of your builds. I love your builds. I actually, that's one of the things I absolutely adore is like there are like 6 or 7 of my buddies who are hardcore Lego maniacs, and they um and you guys all just build them, and I sit there and just watch, and I'm like, "Aw." And so it's like I just love all of your work. I don't have the time really to build so many things, and I don't have the space really. Mostly because like, I've got so many starships. My problem is that I'm a little bit more of a starship maniac than I am a Lego maniac, but I do love my I love my minifigs. Oh, before we go, speaking of minifigs, there was a thing that I once did where I did this. Wait, that's not what I want to show. I want to do the other one. This one. Here. I was having way too much fun with the idea of drawing on minifigs faces and making minifig comics, because I think that was awesome. So anyway, someday I'll get back to doing that. That was a lot of fun too. So let's see here. Bet you I can open up that one here and just flip through them real quick. There we go. Better. I was having fun. We're coming up on 10 minutes to Geek Tank, but I at least was doing. There we go. There. I gotta move me down. I am totally in the wrong part of this picture. I think here is better. There we go. So I actually what I did was I did the minifigs, and then I just turned their heads around so that their faces are in the back, and stuck the helmets on. And then I just brought them in and then drew on the yellow faces. Right. That one. So this is originally what it looked like, and then I did this. It looked better. Right. So yeah, it's having way too much fun. All right. So I think that's all I ever made. It's 3. It's headed somewhere. I don't remember where I am. Anyway, I had a little rig over behind me, which was set up for a set, and now I'm building this area over here to be a set. So there we go. Okay, guys, that's it. That's all we got. I got to go over and do Geek Tank. If you want to follow Geek Tank, that's at Rocky Mountain Geek Tank on Facebook, and we'll be transmitting there in just a second. I'm going to go to StreamYard and stuff, but I can't start a new broadcast. Well, maybe I can start a new broadcast. Okay. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow. For at least this week, we will be broadcasting at this time. But remember, the collective has decided to try to move to nights, so we'll be moving to 10 to midnight starting May 2nd. So just keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys all later. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye. Computer, good night.